The Flash. So, the DCU's last movie was The Flash. And as we all know, it was an alright movie. It reset the DCU and was the start basically, gave, is gonna make way for the start, which is gonna be the Superman movie, which will be released in a month and a bit. But I like the movie, to be honest. It was not too much, but it's again about the Flashpoint, which I've seen better versions of it. But I didn't mind the movie, to be honest. And the movie stars Ezra Miller, as we all know. Many people like Grant Gustin's The Flash more, but I think he made his job pretty well. Even though he had some controversies, breaking into people's homes. I don't know. This guy is weird, but he played pretty good. And that now we come to today's topic, and the topic is the Flash, the Fastest Man Alive comic from 2022, which is basically supposed to be an origin for the movie, but it doesn't show how the Flash became the Flash. It is the best origin we got because in the DCEU they just introduce him in the Justice League in the movie, and we don't have a backstory. We just see this guy eating pizza, having his own place basically with a suit. But Bruce Wayne just gets him, and he's part of the Justice League now. But we don't see much about the character. So these three issues are free, fun, basically issues about taking down a villain. Always, we have one villain per issue, which is self-explanatory. So the first issue, Barry takes on Grider. Grider is a metal monster which is trying to take him down because he has a sick father, and he works for a mob boss who promises to give him money if he takes down the Flash. And he basically just wants to pay his sick father's medical bills. But the Flash tries to defeat him, but fails at first, as you see in this panel. And after that, the Flash goes to Gotham City and takes on the Batman as his mentor. And Bruce Wayne can't really help him physically, but of course is his mental leader. Then he comes back and defeats Grider. And in the end, he takes care of his father too, because the Flash is a hero. He has a fundraiser for his father. And yeah. So let's get to the second issue. In the second issue, the Flash works as an intern at a lab, at a police lab. And at first, he's really sluggish, always late and all that, because he's, of course, the Flash. And an important character in this issue is his father, Henry Allen. And he visited him at the prison multiple times and tells him all about his struggles. And of course, his father doesn't know that he's the Flash, but he's kind of trying to hide those questions that the Flash wants to ask his fathers. And he does a pretty good job. And the father always gives him good advice. He says, don't take on everything at once. Take on one thing at a time. And he does that. And he becomes good at his job. He becomes good as Flash and takes on the main villain, Torpid, in this issue. And Torpid is part of the Montaglione family, which is a mob family, and they deal with illegal weapons, or like, I don't know if the weapons are illegal. I think the weapons. Also, they do illegal activities with those weapons, and the Flash always takes him down. And the guy Torpid was in a cage for years because he's became a monster by some accident, and he gets tired of the Flash and wants to take over the business, which is run by his bigger brother, who disapproves of his actions. But he breaks out, takes over, and of course the police is now against him. And the Flash takes him on, as you see in this panel. And in the end, he defeats him also after a lot of struggles. And the biggest struggle in this issue for him was if he uses his powers, he might hurt the people who he's trying to protect. But in the end, he's successful with also using his creativity, his intelligence, through which in the end he succeeds as always. Also, let's cover the drawing style. So in the first issue, it is okay. I think in the second issue was at least a lot better. Look at the images; they're pretty beautiful. The Flash is drawn pretty well. Yeah, in the first, I mean, it's maybe not the best part of the comic, but it doesn't go as well as in the second issue. And I think they're also drawn by different artists because they look a lot differently. And look, in the third issue, it also looks different than in the second issue. It's still also good. I like it more than the first issue. I think it's all, at least the second and the third issue, are made pretty well. The first one too, but not as well as the second and the third one. So the third issue, the Flash fights against this villain who's called the Top, and here he mainly struggles again with, can I use my powers without hurting the people? The Top is trying to make him hurt the people himself, and the Top he's just a show off who probably doesn't like the Flash. Henry Allen is important here again. And this is the wrong one. Sorry guys. Here we go. And here he takes him on. And the Flash in the end, he sees that he gotta use his powers to protect the people. Of course he gotta be careful, but in the end he gotta use them to the full extent to beat the bad guys. And in the end, the people forgive him, which I think he destroyed their house. They forgive him because he's a hero. And in the end, the Flash succeeds. So overall, I think those three comics are pretty good. Especially if you want to watch the movie. Yeah, even if you don't want to watch the movie, if you just want free, fun issues about the Flash. Of course, if you would read another comic, a comic run, they usually have a lot more issues, have more time to build. And there's probably also better origin stories than this one. But if you just want a short run about the Flash, not a long one, I can definitely recommend this. But if you want a good origin story, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I think there's definitely better comics. So you guys tell me what you think about this comic. But yeah, and I'm gonna see you the next time. And it's probably gonna be another The Flash comic, but you're gonna see then. So, have a nice day. See you next time.